series as well. We've had Sun Series, we've had Moon Series. This is now the final sort of hurdle, as it were, for the 2019 Pokemon Series. And our players, they're sitting there, they're ready at their desks. You've got Christian there on the right-hand side, and you've got Flavio on the left. The crowd. I don't know if you can hear. The crowd is cheering.
Oh.
Big Italian group here, all cheering for Flavio. As I said, there's so many of these players here from Italy at the moment, really trying to take the title in. We can showcase Flavio a little bit closer and reveal that team.
There it is. First of all, I have to compliment Flavio for all his achievements. Like he made Europe International top 8. He is the reigning Leipzig regional champion. He is the Rome regional runner-up, and he got top 4 at Turin regional. And there you go, the team. Xerneas, Rayquaza, Incineroar, Nihilego again, Amoonguss. And what was the last one? Tapu Fini,
yes. And then you've got Christian there. You can hear as well the crowd cheering for him. This is going to be an electric game. You can feel the atmosphere here. And Christian, he's got his accolades on there as well. He's gone to Worlds a couple of times, so he's got that top level experience, finishing top 32, 2015 and 2016, and then Italian national top 16. And he wants to add something that says international on there. Maybe champion, maybe top 8, at least top 8. But taking a look at his wonderful team again, you've got that Komodo and the Xerneas. You've got the Groudon on there as well, Kangaskhan, Smeargle, and the Tornadus. Now, Tornadus was a Pokemon that really worked out for him last time, just getting up that Tailwind. And if you're Flavio, you've got to think of a way to either combat that with your own kind of speed control or stop Christian from getting it up at all.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, I guess. So I really do like the composition of the team. Like you try to get up Tailwind and with Fake Up Pressure pair your boosters as you want. You can run a really bulky Xerneas because you got that Tailwind up, and then you can boost safely. You can use Fake Out from behind and get some pressure on, and then Como comes in, and there's some nice little twerks on the team sheet I've seen coming from this Como especially.
Yeah, I'm very excited, and you guys should be as well at home. We're here kicking off top 8 is our first game, and you can see the teams on there again. We've recapped them already, and I'm very looking forward to seeing what Christian in particular is going to bring to this game. I want to know if he's going to try and set up that Xerneas or the Komodo. But again, if you are Flavio, you've got to make sure that you either have a way around that. You have a Xerneas, and that's something that Christian doesn't really want to face all too much. You don't want to have any very tight moves coming into your Komodo, and again, just playing that mirror of Xerneas, and Xerneas can sometimes be really, really difficult, particularly as Flavio does have the Incineroar there as well that he can keep rotating in for Fake Out Pressure.
Yeah, definitely, and maybe Flavio wants to bring that Tapu Fini to the match just to make sure that the Clangerous Soul Blaze is not going to boost Komo's moves, but if he does so, he takes away some offensive pressure onto Christian's team. This is what you usually want to do, like pressure set up base teams as much as possible, not giving them any free turns. And well, Tapu Fini is a good supportive Pokemon, but not pressuring on itself.
Well, Tapu Fini and Amoonguss on Flavio's side as well are going to give Christian a lot of trouble if they are packing things like Clear Smog or Haze as well. With all of that setup, all those stat boosts, they're going to be really critical to Christian, and he does not want to lose any of them. And if you're Flavio, even if you maybe have to allow Christian to get them set up, you want to just remove them before he's able to actually utilize on them. So Christian's going to have to find a way to play around these tricksy Pokemon, but at the same time, Flavio has to make sure that he is not spending all of his time stopping Christian and not activating his own strategy at the same time.
Yeah, and then we still got the Rayquaza, which is threatened by Xerneas and Como when they set up, but is threatening them a lot when they didn't set up yet. Yeah,
100%. But let's jump into this game. We've got the Nihilego and the Tapu Fini on the field for Flavio, and on Christian's side, you've got the Tornadus and the Kangaskhan. So Kangaskhan straight away threatening with some Fake Out Pressure.
Yeah, and this is what we've seen from Christian on stream yet, like getting Fake Out, getting Tailwind up, and then having some boosting Pokemon in the back. And Flavio might just have brought a really good way against this, I guess. Some Nihilegos might run Trick Room, so he might opt for, hey, I'm going to reverse the Trick Room and I'll reverse the speed of every Pokemon and move first. And Tapu Fini, on the other hand, could go for Icy Wind, so he could go for speed control either way when Kangaskhan just Fake Out Swan.
Yeah, just goes straight into the Nihilego, doesn't want it to get up to any damage there. As the Tornadus does go for a Taunt there to the Tapu Fini, going to stop it from going for anything that would be supported like a Hill Pulse or a Screen. I don't know how good your Italian is here. Sebi. Not too sure what the moves were that went off there, unfortunately. We couldn't quite tell. Need to brush up on my Italian just a little bit. But either way, the situation here, Tornades didn't go for a Tailwind. He doesn't necessarily need to. If Nihiligo's maybe going for a Trick Room more on the slow side of things, and Tapu Fini not necessarily the fastest Pokemon at the moment. It might be more preferable later on in the game if Flavio has his Xerneas or Rayquaza on the field. But at the moment, Tornades just wants to maybe go for some taunts and just stop any setup happening on Flavio's end.
I really do like that taunt. Like, he can still go for Tailwind later on to extend those Tailwind turns, and Kangaskhan is a very threatening Pokemon on itself and chipping away the first damage of Pokemon, and we're gonna see the first C-move of the game now.
Oh, it's a Continental Crush coming out from that Nihiligo, something we saw Alessio use in his Swiss round, and it's proven to be quite a popular item choice on Nihiligo. Of course, getting the boost from Power Gem and then turning it into this really strong Z-move. This is going into that Tornadus. It's easily going to be able to pick up the KO, but Tornadus, I feel like it's done its job. It got that Tailwind up, and by being KO'd, although sad for Christian, it gives him the opportunity to bring in a new Pokemon now.
Yeah, this is what you do with such teams. Like, you don't care about Tornadus going down. You can send in Pokemon later on just to set up, but neither of those Pokemon wants to set up in front of that.
Exactly, Tapu Fini taking a huge amount of damage as well from that double edge. Firing back an Icy Wind though, of course going single target onto the Kangaskhan does a little bit of extra damage, but most crucially lowers the speed that will negate that Tailwind ever so slightly, but needs another Icy Wind.
He needs one more round, but it's an interesting situation because if there is a Como coming in, no, but anyhow, it's a Groudon coming in, which now is ready to go to fire off those Precipice Blades. Flavio is meant to switch some things around if he wants to preserve the Nihiligo for potential Xerneas in the back. Tapu Fini already is pretty down on health, so if Christian just doubles up into that slot, it might be really good. It's taunted, so he cannot protect if he got it. And every Pokemon, like, this is Ultra Series, and this is what we love. Like, you get so much damage on almost every switch in, and this is where it comes down to the end.
This thing, Flavio could switch out a Pokemon, bring in the Incineroar just to try and get off some Intimidate, or the Rayquaza, because obviously being a flying type, not going to be affected by any of these Precipice Blades, and potentially by resetting the weather, can maybe help out getting rid of this Groudon. But it is going to be a Earth Power actually going into the Tapu Fini, showing that it's potentially a special build. But Tapu Fini able to survive, also eats its berry, and will be able to, as long as it doesn't get KO'd by the Kangaskhan, be able to do something in return. But Kangaskhan going first here, going for another double edge here, going straight into that Tapu Fini, and it is enough to pick up the KO. Oh, Flavio looked really disappointed by that, unfortunately. Kangaskhan, of course, taking a little bit of recoil as well.
So I'm really curious what Flavio brought as fourth Pokemon in the back, because I think we're going to see Nihiligo doesn't want to face Kangaskhan and Groudon. I'm really curious what that Rayquaza is going to pack. He surely needs a move to hit that Groudon, because he got not that many answers to Groudon, so he solves it offensively, I guess. So there might be some Waterfall, Earthquake, Earth Power, something like that to get rid of that Groudon.
Yeah, you do on occasion see a water type move on the Rayquaza, particularly as it has such an ability with the weather. It can more often than not often power through the sun of Groudon, but Flavio here bringing on his Xerneas. Now, this is a Pokemon you want to be able to get set up so you can start powering through Christian's team, but you have to be aware of the Tailwind that Christian has on that side. You don't want your Xerneas to be taking any unnecessary damage. Wouldn't be surprised to maybe see a Protect here from the Xerneas, as Rayquaza maybe wants to try and do something set up in some way. But of course, again, both Kangaskhan and Groudon, there's no Incineroar on Flavio's side. You can see all his full Pokemon there. He's got no way to intimidate them or lower their attack output.
I'm really curious if that Groudon is slowly special based, or if there's it's maybe mixed, which could work out in the end when he wants to double target on like each Pokemon, and Rayquaza just straight goes for the Mega Evolution and stays in, no switch coming in there.
Yeah, going to bring its wins to the field as Xerneas does indeed go for a protect. Of course, if that Groudon is solely a special variant as well, you definitely want to get your Xerneas boosted up. Goes for an Eruption, I think that was.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, not going to affect the Xerneas at all, but going to do a little bit of damage to the opposing Rayquaza, and not too much at all, nothing to be worried about, as Kangaskhan also targets down that Xerneas. So a great protect there from Flavio, as Rayquaza is able to go for an Earth Power into the opposing Groudon. So a good reveal there, good choice from that Rayquaza.
Yeah, this turn really worked out for Flavio. He got the right call, and Christian doubled into the Xerneas, wanting to prevent a potential Geomancy, and this is what makes Xerneas really dangerous, especially when paired with a really strong partner like Rayquaza. Like, you know your opponent wants to avoid Geomancy at all costs, and this is where you protect. We got a free turn with the other one, and as we saw, that the Groudon might even be in extreme speed range.
It might be. It depends how powerful that Rayquaza wants to be, but Groudon's definitely had its health whittled down. Nice little surprise there from the special variant of a ground-type move from Rayquaza. We've seen a lot in this tournament how Intimidate can be really crucial at whittling away. So just in general, from a team-building perspective, that's a really great thing from Flavio. But he's bringing back that Nihilego in. Again, a Pokemon that doesn't want to get hit by something like Earth Power. And unfortunately, that's exactly what it has switched into. It will be KO'd straight away and will leave the field as swiftly as it joined. But it does maybe buy Flavio that one turn out of Tailwind that he can then bring Xerneas into an environment that is going to be much more suited to. Rayquaza takes a huge amount of damage, not enough to pick up the KO, even though the little baby Kangaskhan tried to get a little critical hit in there as it goes for Dragon Ascent.
And this is probably taking out the Kangaskhan, I think it was meant that right. So both are trading Pokemon. This is a really fast-paced game. Like,
yes, lots of action.
We have seen loads of positioning when Wolf played, but this is like positioning, but you trade Pokemon in the meantime.
Yes, the positioning isn't so much about switching a Pokemon in or out. It's maybe about letting it get KO'd to bring in another Pokemon. But at the end of the day, it's not necessarily about the turn just in front of you. It's about the endgame position that you're going to be in. And both these trainers at the moment are trying to get themselves into that situation. Flavio now able to bring that Xerneas back on. Doesn't have to worry so much about the Tailwind turns. He knows that Tornadus was also been KO'd by the Continental Crush, so he doesn't have to worry about that going forward. But one thing he has to consider is the Xerneas on Christian's side of the field. Yeah,
That Xerneas, if that gets a boost up, threatens both of them. The Rayquaza is down to every hit it takes it out. But almost so is Groudon. It might take an unboosted Dazzling Gleam and stuff like that, but despite that, I guess like every move is taken out, and now this is where the mind games begin. Which Pokemon targets which Pokemon, who is going to protect, am I going to get up a unexpected Geomancy over there? It's really down on the wire now.
It certainly is, and there's no real option for speed control at the moment either, as Tapu Finney's been KO'd, no more Icy Winds on that side, but Earth Power coming out, going straight into that Groudon, so removing one of the restricted straight away from Christian's side of the field. Doesn't have to worry about that at all, as the Geomancy does occur. It goes straight onto Christian's Xerneas first of all, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see Flavio follow up with one as well.
Yeah, I think so, because that's the way to go. You want that Xerneas boosted in the end game. But, well, it's kind of interesting because Christian then has to go for the Dazzling Gleam, and whereas Flavio is free to go for Moonblast, which is more damage, potential special attack drop, might even be that Rayquaza protects one turn, so Christian is forced to Dazzling Gleam more often than Flavio. Is Christian going to fall for it, or is he going to do the safe play, or is he trying to Moonblast Flavio's Xerneas in the protecting turn? Like, this is coming down to maybe even a critical hit.
Exactly.
Boost.
There's still like a way out for him here.
Yeah.
The Rayquaza though, however, is only on 3 hit points. It can still deal a huge amount of damage though. As you can see, it goes straight here for the extreme speed, just putting it into chip potentially for a Moonblast. But like you said, Sebi, the Xerneas on Christian's side does have to go for a Dazzling Gleam and able to pick up the KO against Rayquaza, but does do a good amount of damage to the Xerneas in return. Xerneas, however, on Flavio's side, only has one opponent on the other side of the field, gets to go for that Moonblast. It is able to survive though.
And no drop. Based off that damage the Dazzling Gleam dealt, this might just be enough for... This is going to be a really close one. If it was single target Moonblast, is going to take it out.
Oh! So Christian Xerneas did go first, but it survived on 2 hit points. able to go back with another Moonblast. Oh my gosh, I hope you guys at home hear the roar from the crowd there. Oh, that came down to the wire with the Xerneas, and Flavio is able to take game 1.
That was as close as it can be, Lou.
That
as
really
close as it can be. And you hear the crowd cheering.
Flavio having a little smile to himself, and deservedly so. But, you know, huge kudos to Christian as well. He didn't count himself out there. He put himself in a position where, I mean, it came down to just a couple of hit points there. It could have easily gone either way. But as it turned out, Flavio takes game 1 in this top 8 set.
This was intense. My hands are sweating, Luna.
I'm definitely shaking after that one. It was very, very intense. But of course, some amazing Pokemon play on both sides of the field. Both players managed to position their Xerneas into an endgame situation. But one of the things that also impressed me was how well Flavio was able to kind of utilize his Pokemon to make sure he was always in the position that he wanted to be. He was sort of taking loads of hits from the Kangaskhan and from the Groudon as well. But looking at both of these teams, you'd think there might be some issues with the matchup. The fact that the Groudon is a special variant, and the fact that Rayquaza also has a special type move with Earth Power really does shake things up a little bit and forces these trainers to maybe rethink their strategy.
Well, for the first match, it kind of went out for Flavio, but Christian might shake up his play. Like, of course, he can again lead with Kangaskhan Tornadoes, see if he can power through with a potential Flynium C boosted Hurricane from the Tornadoes. The double edges are still very strong, dealing loads amount of damage, even is possible.
You're still so shaking from
I'm still so on the wire, Lou. Especially when there's no Intimidate on the line.
Yes, that's true.
Kangaskhan deals loads amount of damage with that double edge. And maybe he wants to try a different thing. That Groudon didn't do that much damage. It took out the Nihilego, though, which is crucial. Well, Nihilego is really good against
really powerful.
Xerneas.
Particularly as well as the Nihilego did get the special attack boost from the Beast Boost when it took down the Tornadoes. You wanted to make sure that you got that Pokemon off the field as quickly as possible. Boosted Sludge Bombs are not fun for any Xerneas, but I think you're right there, Sebi, talking about the Supersonic Sky Strike coming out from the Tornadoes.
Right.
Even if it doesn't pick up a KO, it will do a good amount of damage. Maybe that later in the end game, something like a Dazzling Gleam would be able to pick up the KO if it's taken such a strong Z move previously.
Yeah, you want to chip every Pokemon onto that situation where you're not reliant on having to boost to pick them up, and just to make use of Tailwind. And we're gonna see the leads again. Flavio sending out Nihilego and Tapu Fini, and Christian is again going with Kangaskhan and Tornadoes.
Yeah, it looks like the same leads from game 1 here. So Kangaskhan once again looking pretty to get a fake out off here. Doesn't have to worry about any Intimidate. But my question is, what is Tornadoes going to do? Game 1, it went for the Torn into the Tapu Fini and then went for Tailwind. But as you've mentioned, it does have that Z move up its sleeve as well. And if it just wants to utilize that to maybe get a good chunk of damage on something like the Tapu Fini, that might be able to remove Tapu Fini from play later on, so that Tristan's in a position to maybe set up his Xerneas or his Komodo if he's chosen them in the back.
Well, the big point about Tapu Fini is you don't want the first hit to be the big one, not to get it into berry range. So you want to chip it first and then hit it with a big move.
Well, the chip damage coming out onto Nihilego from the fake out coming there, as Tornadoes does again go for Taunt. So playing out very similarly as it was to game 1. It's whether Flavio or not will have gone for the same thing. No status moves, goes for an Icy Wind this time. So going to do a little bit of chip damage to both these Pokemon. We know Tornadoes is not Focus Sash, that doesn't matter too much, but it does still have Prankster, so he can still get the Tailwind up.
He can still get the Tailwind up, but Flavio did the first thing right here, starting to Icy Wind. If he gets off a second one, the Kangaskhan will be slow, and now Nihilego is moving before Kangaskhan, before Tornadoes, and that Tornadoes is either forced to go for the Tailwind and to go down, or just straight up go out.
Exactly. We saw last time the Tapu Fini switched out, Nihilego went for that Continental Crush into the Tornadoes, but considering the amount of damage that we saw the Kangaskhan going for previously, maybe that would be the target. But Tornadoes going for the Tailwind, just making sure Christian has got the speed boosted up on his side. And straight away, again, we see the Continental Crush coming out from Nihilego. Now, do you think this is still going into that Tornadoes, or maybe going to try and get some good damage on the Kangaskhan?
I do think so. It is going into the Tornadoes. We're gonna see it, because once it gets the first knockout, things are starting to roll off with its nice ability. There you go, taking out the Tornadoes with that big stone.
Yeah, that is a powerful Z move. And of course, now it gives Christian the opportunity to switch in another Pokemon. But again, Nihilego will now get that special attack Beast Boost, making it a lot more threatening going forward. If it's able to survive moves from Kangaskhan and other Pokemon, it's going to be able to be quite threatening. And Tapu Fini going again for the Icy Wind, meaning that for Kangaskhan, the Tailwind's not going to be effective. The Pokemon coming in for the Tornadus, though, still going to be able to benefit from it.
This has been high cost so far for the Tornadoes. He always traded Tailwind for its own knockout, but look at the damage that Kangaskhan did to Nihilego. That Kangaskhan did something like Sucker Punch in the back.
Yeah,
next time.
Really, really putting the pressure on that Nihilego. Christian now bringing in his Xerneas. Again, does not want to be facing down against that Nihilego, but like you said there, Sebi, if that Kangaskhan does have access to something like Sucker Punch, may be able to remove the threat of Nihilego before Xerneas even has to worry about it.
Yeah. And now this is what Christian wants to be at. Like, brought Xerneas, he obviously pressures that Nihilego with the potential move from Kangaskhan. Otherwise, you don't want to be in front of that. So he can boost. He can start boosting. Tapu Fini is still taunted, so Tapu Fini cannot press haste straight away. And this is what you want to do. The haste in the first turn after the Geomancy. And there he goes. Christian goes for Geomancy.
Yeah, no Sucker Punch coming out from the Kangaskhan, just Geomancy coming up strong from the Xerneas. Of course, it will get +2 special defense, which will help it out a little bit from that Sludge Bomb, but thanks to the +1 special attack on Nihilego, it's still going to be hitting really, really hard. You can see it getting all of its boosts up here now, as Nihilego does go for a clear smog that is going into Xerneas. Oh, the roar from the crowd there, that was amazing. And Xerneas has all of its stats reduced. Oh my gosh, Kangaskhan finished up as well by taking down the Nihilego. But what a great reveal there from Flavio.
This was a really clever move by Flavio. Not only dealing damage, but throwing Christian's game plan all over the place.
Exactly. He thought it was maybe slightly safe. You know, Tapu Fini has been taunted, can't haze, goes for another Icy Wind, as you can see. Putting that Xerneas now at -1 speed as it had all of its stats reduced. But really nice play there from Flavio, just being able to make sure he's got every counter in the book to boosting teams. And that really does set Christian back a lot, as he really relies on getting his Pokemon boosted up in their stats. Flavio now able to bring in his own Xerneas.
Now Christian's Pokemon are already chipped and you already lost the Tornado, so there's no way he can get up Tailwind again. There's no way he can get up the Geomancy boost that soon, so Xerneas still stays there. Flavio brought himself in a really, really good position by that nice tack. Clear Smog, love it.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. And the thing I love most is he's sort of taken down Christian Xerneas from setup, now brings in his own and kind of threatens to set up all of his own. Yes, Kangaskhan still can deal a lot of damage to it. Its defenses are not going to be boosted by Geomancy. But you know that you're going to be able to get the Geomancy up before the opposing Xerneas thanks to the Icy Wind drop. And once you get that +2 special defense, you're going to be able to take any Moonblast.
Look at this, Lou.
A lot stronger. But hey, Christian's like, do not count my Xerneas out just yet. As Flavio's does not go for the Geomancy, just goes straight for the Dazzling Gleam. Doesn't quite pick up the KO on that opposing Kangaskhan, as Tapu Fini, I believe, goes for a light screen.
Yeah, there you go. Clever. And a roar from Kangaskhan coming to roar out the Xerneas. But Christian's Xerneas is now locked into Geomancy. It has to go for one more turn before it can start attacking. And time Flavio just used correctly with setting up light screen, and now Rayquaza is in for free. Exactly,
Rayquaza's joined the field, and again, such a beautiful play by Flavio not to go for the Geomancy. Maybe he knew about the roar, but either way, he's just clicked the forfeit button. Huge congratulations there to Flavio. You can hear the crowd, you can see the crowd as well now. There is so much support here for our players at the European International Championships.
Oh, look at this, I love that.
Oh, that's so beautiful to see the spirit and camaraderie of Pokemon. Oh, everyone's here cheering on Flavio, whether they know him in person or not. They're getting behind a player and cheering for them, and that's just such a beautiful thing to see.
Well, this is what we do behind the desk all the time.